Y News with Angelo Castro III, William Theo, and Darlene Basingan.
Good evening. The Armed Forces of the Philippines resumes its military offensives in Malawi City following the latest encounter last night. Victor Cosare will tell us why.
The Armed Forces of the Philippines, or AFP, considers last night's operations in Malawi City as its bloodiest battle against the Maute terrorist group. Last night was the eve of the Eid al-Adha, or the sacrifice feast of Muslims. According to AFP spokesperson Brigadier General Restituto Padilla, 3 were killed on the part of the government and 5 on the part of the terrorist group.
Karamihan sa kanila ay na-injure sa mga nilatag na IED at patibong ng mga kalaban habang pumapasok tayo sa mga lugar na ito.
52 soldiers were injured. Some of them are in need of immediate medical attention after sustaining grave injuries.
Although slight injuries lang karamihan at nanatili sila sa battlefield, may ilan din tayo na medyo masama ang tama, kaya kinailangan natin silang ilikas sa pinakamagandang mga military facilities na pwedeng gumamot sa kanila tulad sa Cagayan de Oro.
Because of the incident, the number of casualties on the part of the government has further risen to 136. The military temporarily suspended its operations at 6 to 7 in the morning earlier to pay respect for the celebration of the Eid al-Adha by Muslims. After an hour, government troops resumed their offensive and closed airstrikes against the Maute terrorists. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Department of Justice has dismissed the rebellion charges against 99 suspected Maute recruits who were arrested in Zamboanga last July 25. Rodrigo Mendoza explains why.
The Department of Justice has ordered the release of 59 suspected recruits of Maute Group arrested in Zamboanga last July. Secretary Vitaliano Aguirre confirms the DOJ panel dismissed the rebellion charges against the suspects. DOJ has yet to give details on the reason for the dismissal and how the prosecutors were able to conclude that the suspects have no links to the rebellion in Malawi City. Aguirre, however, says if the prosecutors found no evidence to indict the suspects, such a finding should be respected. The AFP says it respects and will abide by the resolution of the DOJ panel. It also shows they respect the constitutional provisions on martial law and the court's jurisdiction over the cases. The suspects are currently detained at Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig City. 32 of them were arrested in a checkpoint in Ipil, Zamboanga del Sur, while 27, including 4 minors, were apprehended in Giwan, Zamboanga City. They are allegedly bound for Malawi City to reinforce the Maute who are fighting government troops. But they said a certain Nur Sufyan recruited them to train as MNLF soldiers. Rodrigo Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
The camp of Edgar Matobato requests for copies of the reply of respondents in the multiple criminal cases they filed before the Office of the Ombudsman. Rosalie Cos will tell us why.
Attorney Jude Sabio submitted a motion to the Office of the Ombudsman to acknowledge him as the lawyer of Edgar Matobato. Matobato is the self-confessed hitman and whistleblower of the alleged Davao Death Squad accusing President Rodrigo Duterte of involvement. Attorney Sabio will ask for the copy of the reply of the respondents on the multiple charges they filed.
Dahil sa national importance yung kaso, dapat naman siguro ibigyan nila ako ng kopya dahil ako ang nagsampa ng complaint na to way back December 9, 2016.
But according to a source in the Ombudsman, the reply of the parties is not available for distribution based on the Ombudsman procedures. Yesterday, Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales confirmed that the preliminary investigation for the said complaints has started. Meanwhile, Attorney Sabio adds that he has received information that the special panel of investigators of the Ombudsman has already dropped President Duterte as one of the respondents.
Nire-respeto ko naman yung pananaw ng Ombudsman kasi malinaw talaga sa batas natin yung presidential immunity from suit. Meron mga desisyon sa Korte Suprema yan eh.
Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Meanwhile, some lawmakers call for the abolition of the Bureau of Customs or BOC. Grace Casen explains why.
The House Committee on Dangerous Drugs' #1 recommendation is for the Bureau of Customs or BOC to be abolished. This after a series of hearings the lower house conducted on the billions of peso worth of shabu shipment from China that the agency failed to intercept. Former BOC Commissioner and now Muntinlupa Representative Rufy Biazon is the one who recommends the abolition of the agency he once led. According to Biazon, this is the easiest way to prevent the prevalent smuggling and corruption in customs. The lawmaker proposes that among the matters to be attended to if a new agency will replace the BOC is the selection and setting of qualifications for employees to be hired.
Kailangan mas gawin natin na natutugma doon sa pangangailangan at function ng agency. Pangalawa, yung processes, business process flow. I-engineer natin dapat yan para ma-update yung proseso, ma-block yung mga gaps at saka yung mga lapses.
Biazon cites Peru as an example of a country that implements such a good system on entering and exiting shipments, saying it is not impossible for the Philippines to do the same.
Sinat down nila yung existing na ahensya. They offered early retirement. Yung iba may optional retirement. Nag-generate ng positive results sa kanila yun. Kaya nga it's been highlighted as one of the success stories in customs reform worldwide.
House Committee on Dangerous Drugs also recommends to replace the current deputy commissioners and port collectors, the abolition of command centers of the BOC, and to return to the Intelligence Enforcement Group the authority to issue alert orders. It also proposes the installation of additional X-ray machines and CCTV cameras at BOC ports, customs inspector and agents wearing of body cameras, and the filing of charges against former BOC Commissioner Nicanor Faaldon and other employees of the agency. Grace Casen, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Senator Richard Gordon insists that he is not taking anyone's side on the billion-peso shabu shipment probe. Meanwhile, Senator Grace Poe believes that the dispute between Senators Gordon and Trillanes need not reach the Senate Ethics Committee. Nel Maribohok explains why.
Senate Blue Ribbon Committee Chair Senator Richard Gordon sets to file his ethics complaint against Senator Antonio Trillanes next week. This is in connection with their heated argument in yesterday's 6.4 billion peso shabu shipment probe. In the said hearing, Trillanes insisted that Davao City Vice Mayor Paulo Duterte and presidential son-in-law attorney Man Scarpio, who are being linked to the smuggling activities, be invited to the next hearing. According to Gordon, he is impartial on the probe.
Bakit? Sino ba kinakatingan ko? Bakit? Do I owe Duterte anything? Do I owe anybody there anything?
Senator Trillanes meanwhile is ready to face any complaints.
Sa akin naman, I'll just deal with this kung ano ang sanang direksyon nito and I will react accordingly.
Senator Grace Poe, a member of the ethics body, on the other hand, is hoping that the dispute between the two senators will not have to be escalated anymore to the committee.
Nakakalungkot rin na nangyari yan dahil mga kasama ko yon. Pero ang ninanais ko sana ay hindi na humantong ito sa isang ethics hearing or ethics complaint na pwedeng pag-usapan ng maayos.
It is not sure yet if the issues between the two will be tackled during the Senate caucus on Monday. Nel Maribohok, UNTV News and Rescue, Senate of the Philippines.
In other news, President Rodrigo Duterte calls the corruption allegation of Senator Antonio Trillanes IV against his family as complete garbage. In his speech during the 11th founding anniversary of the Eastern Mindanao Command in Davao City, the president says Trillanes has been hitting a low blow against his family by spreading rumors and wrong information of their alleged hidden wealth. The president maintains that he is always ready to step down from office if anyone can prove that his family is indeed involved in illegal transactions.
Kung may ebidensya, huwag niyo kay Trillanes kasi basura man talaga lahat dyan. So, yan ang sabihin ko. That is my guarantee. Pagdating ng panahon na nakita ninyo ako binubula ko kayo, you are free to advise me to step down or I myself would step down.
Meanwhile, some lawmakers questioned the alleged shortened period of budget deliberations in the lower house of Congress. Grace Costin tells us why.
The government's proposed national budget for 2018, which is worth 3.7 trillion pesos, is set for floor deliberations on Monday. Based on the schedule released by the House Committee on Appropriations, the House leadership allotted only 5 days for the debate of the proposed budget. But some lawmakers have expressed concern over what they claimed a shortened period for floor deliberations on the proposed budget of the executive branch. They argue with the shortened period of debates, the exclusive power of Congress as stated under the Constitution to thoroughly examine the government's budget has been lost.
The executive has, for a number of years now, including the previous administration, has succeeded in controlling the appropriation process. We're afraid that the General Appropriations Bill Act, the GAA, might even be a replica of the NEP. The power of the House over the appropriations measure, I think, has been lost.
Never ganyang ka-iksi. No, hindi ganyang ka-iksi yung oras na nilalaan para sa pagdebate sa plenaryo ng budget. No, usually doble yan, no, 2 linggo. Ayaw natin na maging rubber stamp na lamang, no, at kumbaga maging parang palabas na lang yung mga debate rito.
However, House Speaker Pantalon Alvarez has stood in defense of the matter.
I don't see any reason kung bakit kailangan natin patagalin yan. Kung okay na naman, ang daming committees yan. Meron tayong Committee on Appropriation, pinag-aaralang mabuti yan.
Among the government offices with the biggest budget allocation include the Department of Education, Public Works and Highways, Health, National Defense, Social Welfare and Development, Transportation, Agriculture Department, DENR, and the Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao. Grace Costin, UNTV News and Rescue, House of Representatives.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority has begun its preparations ahead of the holiday season. Ray Pelayo explains why.
The Metropolitan Manila Development Authority or MMDA is now making plans on how to reduce the expected heavy traffic flow in the following months, especially during December, in which various occasions will take place. MMDA Chairman Danilo Lim says they will search for possible alternative routes for motorists like camps and subdivisions. Lim notes they may also order malls along EDSA to not hold weekday sales and to do their deliveries during the evening.
Titingnan natin lahat ng mga ginawa natin nung mga nakaraang taon, and then from there, sana makahanap pa tayo ng mga improvement sa mga in-implement natin.
The MMDA is also looking into the possibility of setting up a terminal in Santa Rosa, Laguna for provincial buses.
So hanggang doon na lang yung mga provincial buses, and then lilipat sila sa ibang buses papasok ng Manila para mabawasan yung mga buses na pumapasok sa Manila.
It is also studying the possibility of imposing congestion fee as a way to ease the heavy flow of vehicles in Metro Manila. During times of bumper-to-bumper traffic, motorists may have to pay a certain amount which will be deducted in their radio frequency identification or RFID installed in their vehicles.
So kung ayaw mong magbayad ng extra, doon ka dumaan sa alternate route, wag sa EDSA.
The agency also plans to implement a no-contact apprehension policy on illegal parking. Under this, a driver captured on video or pictured illegally parking his vehicle on a street will receive a notice to pay for fines.
Kung araw-araw siyang nakapark doon, then araw-araw din yung penalty niya, ano?
The MMDA also seeks to increase the salary and the number of its traffic personnel. There are only 2,500 traffic constables now in Metro Manila, which is lower than the ideal 7,000 enforcers.
The MMDA admits that there is indeed a need for mega infrastructures such as the subway system to provide long-term solution to the worsening traffic condition in Metro Manila. Ray Pelayo, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
The Philippine National Police issues early warning to the public at the Easter months. Monokson explains why.
The PNP warns the public this coming holiday season as many criminal elements come out this time of the year. The public is reminded to be careful against criminal elements, specifically snatchers, salisi gang, or the swindlers, and laslas gang or the slashers, who are also busy during Burr months. The Police Community Relations Group or PCRG advises the public not to wear expensive pieces of jewelry and avoid bringing huge amount of money in crowded places to avoid being victimized by pickpockets.
Ingat po tayo at maging mapagmasid, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga valuables. Yung bag natin, dapat palaging nasa harap. Yung backpack man yan, siguro mas maganda ilagay natin sa harap natin dahil marami pong mga pumupunit or sinisira yung mga bag na nasa likod.
The police official also noted that consumers should also be on the lookout for crook vendors who deceive people into buying low-quality products. The PNP also reminds those who want to go on vacation and plan to leave their homes for a long time. Homeowners should ensure closing their doors and windows properly to avoid being victimized by the Akyat Bahay gang or burglars. The public is also encouraged to come up with their own scheme in keeping their homes safe while they are away.
Ang bahay po natin ay palalabasin natin na may tao sa loob. Pwede natin i-on yung transistor radio, pwedeng may ilaw na isa na nakabukas para sa gabi, pag may mga maali-aligid, alam na may tao sa loob, tapos yung transistor radio, or better, kung may kamag-anak po tayo sa paligid, ibilin po natin.
The PNP assures that they will be on standby 24/7 in malls, terminals, markets, and crowded places to ensure the safety of the public. Mon Hokson, UNTV News and Rescue, Camp Crame.
The Light Rail Manila Corporation or LRMC appeals to the Department of Transportation to come up with a decision on whether to increase the fare in LRT Line 1 or to give them subsidy before the LRT line extension project starts. Victor Posare explains why.
The Light Rail Manila Corporation should have already implemented on August 1, 2016 a fare increase in LRT1 as provided for under a concession agreement. However, the government has yet to approve the 5% fare increase. To avoid having the public shoulder the operation expense, the LRMC proposed that the government should subsidize them instead the accumulated 300 million pesos that they should have already collected. Department of Transportation Secretary Arthur Tugade, on the other hand, assures that they will take the public's welfare in consideration in coming up with a decision on the matter.
Papatawag ko kayo ma'am pag may desisyon na ako. Kasi may board ho yan eh. Ayaw ko naman pangunahan. Saka yung mga price increases, toll rates, babalansehin mo yan sa piling at kakayanan ng sambayanan. Huwag na lang ho nating pangunahan. Baka sabihin ng mga kwan, inuna ko pa yung media dun sa meeting.
In a past interview with LRMC CEO and President Rogelio Singson in the program Get It Straight with Daniel Razon, he says that the decision should be made before the LRT1 extension project starts.
So far, we're okay, we will survive. But when we start doing the Cavite extension, which is the big box, no? Ayun kasi umaabot ng 28 billion yun eh.
The said LRT1 fare increase issue receives mixed reaction from the public.
Siyempre hindi naman kasi nakaka-apekto yun sa lahat ng commuters, lalo na ngayon na tumataas yung bilihin, tapos yung sahod naman hindi naman tumataas.
Siguro dagdagan muna nila yung good service bago yung pamasahe.
The present LRT1 fare from Quezon City to the last station in Pasay City is at 30 pesos. This shall become 31.50 once the increase takes effect. Meanwhile, Senator Grace Poe says she is in favor of the LRMC's offer to the government to leave the MRT3 operation to them.
Nakita natin kasi na iba't ibang administrasyon na parang hindi kaya ng gobyerno ang pagpapatakbo ng maayos at ngayon nahihirapan din. Okay lang na maging pribadong sektor ang magpatakbo nito basta hindi tayo magbabayad ng napakamahal para dito na ang serbisyo at maayos at madali silang tatanggalin pag hindi nila ginawa ang kanilang trabaho.
The government is yet to react on the said offer. Victor Cosare, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Next on Y News. Human rights lawyers insist that accepting the Marcos family's offer to return gold and wealth will bring negative impression on the government.
4 Caloocan policemen are likely to face dismissal even without conviction, according to the National Capital Region Police.
A lawmaker urges to limit the deployment of household service workers to the Middle East due to rampant cases of abuse.
Y News will be right back.
Prominent rights advocates in the country believe the government will set a bad example once it accepts the offer of the Marcoses to return some of their gold and wealth. Rodrigo Mendoza will tell us why.
It will bring negative impression for the government to accept the offer of the Marcos family to return some of their gold and ill-gotten wealth. According to human rights lawyer Edri Olalia and former lawmaker Nery Colmenares, the Marcoses will surely ask for a compromise.
Ibig sabihin ba, pag sinuli, kahit na mumu yan, kalimutan na natin ang pananagutan. Wala na bang iba pang dapat expect sa kanila? Halimbawa, yung paghingi ng pagpapatawad, pag-amin ng katiwalian.
Worst implication is a culture of impunity since other corrupt government officials will definitely do the same.
Maling ehemplo yan kasi pwedeng mangyari ulit at nangyayari na nga yan. Ang daming-daming nagnanakaw, tapos mainit ang mga investigasyon, lilipisin, pagkalipas ng panahon, nakakalimutan. Lahat ng may kasong government officials sa Pilipinas, yun yung depensa pag may kaso sila sa ombudsman. So impunity ang ini-encourage niyan. Pangalawa, ang pinaka-importante pa ay yung mensahe na you can steal billions pala. And 20-30 years later, you return a part of it, a few hundreds of millions, okay ka na.
Olalia believes if ever the government enters a compromise with the Marcoses, the public must be consulted, especially the martial law victims who are still waiting for justice until now.
Kung meron mang pag-uusap ng kompromiso, dapat marangal, dapat transparent. Hindi pa pwedeng yung gobyerno lang ng umiiral ngayon tsaka ng Marcos sa mag-uusap. Kasi hindi nila pera yan, pera ng taong bayan yan.
The PCGG has earlier stated that they are open to the offer of the Marcoses, but it will be up to the president to accept it. Individuals interviewed by the news team vary in their acceptance of the issue.
Akala ko po ba wala silang ninakaw? Bakit meron po silang ibabalik?
Kung knockout naman talaga at napapatunayan nakaw, hindi balik para sa mamamayan din.
If i-approve natin yun, ibig sabihin lahat ng may kaso, pwedeng bayaran na lang din nila para makaligtas na dun sa kaso.
Kung mga isosole, maganda. Kasi magagamit pa natin sa ibang project ng gobyerno.
Rodrigo Mendoza, UNTV News and Rescue, Manila.
Malacanang assures the public that President Rodrigo Duterte is carefully studying what action to take regarding the issue on the wealth of the Marcoses. It can be recalled that the chief executive recently announced the offer of the Marcos family to return to the government some of their alleged stolen properties. Presidential spokesperson Ernesto Abella says the president vows that the action the government would undertake is for the best interest of the country and is in accordance with the law. Malacanang also vows that the government will take the necessary steps to obtain justice for the alleged atrocities committed under the Marcos regime. NCRPO Chief Oscar Albayalde says the 4 Caloocan cops involved in the killing of teenager Kian Lloyd de los Santos are still likely to face dismissal from service even without being convicted in the crime. Rajel Adora explains why.
The National Bureau of Investigation or NBI has filed murder and planting of evidence charges against the 4 policemen in Caloocan involved in the killing of 17-year-old Kian Lloyd de los Santos. NBI's investigation reveals that the policemen mercilessly killed the teenager. The complaints state that after the cops arrested Kian, they failed to follow the standard operating procedure because instead of bringing him to a precinct, he was brought to an area near the Tulyahan River and there he was shot. The 4 policemen seemed to have no intention to bring the teenager to the nearest police station, as if they did, they should have passed through this area. But the CCTV footage showed they went to the opposite direction. The crime scene is 2 kilometers far from the police station. The NBI says there is no doubt the victim was shot while on his knees based on the pictures of the crime scene and the trajectory of the bullet. If Kian had indeed resisted arrest, the NBI notes his gun should be frontal. It is also impossible, according to investigators, that the police would not immediately notice the 2 packs of shabu and a caliber .45 gun he carried, as he was just wearing a boxer shorts during the time of his arrest. With these findings, the process on the dismissal from service of the said cops is now starting. Even though they can get away with the murder charges, they can still face dismissal from service.
Kahit na ma-dismiss yung criminal case nila, kung makita na talaga na may mga lapses o may pang-aabuso on their side, pwede pa rin silang ma-dismiss sa serbisyo. Kasi hindi nangangahulugan na ma-dismiss yung criminal aspect ng kaso, ay madi-dismiss din yung administrative aspect ng kanilang case.
The policemen involved in the case are Senior Inspector Amor Cerillo, PO3 Arnel Owares, PO1 Jerwin Cruz, and PO1 Jeremias Pereda. Also involved is their police asset identified only as Mr. Luberas alias Nono. Rodrigo Duterte, UNTV News from Rescue, Philippine.
Police Chief Inspector Jovi Espinido says he is not worried over the reported plan of certain groups to rescue high-profile inmates in Ozamis City. Rodrigo Duterte is back to tell us why.
Some men of the Paruhinog family are still detained at the Ozamis City Jail. Police Chief Inspector Jovi Espinido says they could not transfer them yet as they are still waiting for the order of the court.
We are waiting for the commitment order just for them to transfer from any jail or any institution that the judge will give an order, no, kay makalagay sa order, sa commitment order kung saan siya ilipat.
Espinido dares the group that allegedly plans to rescue high-profile inmates in Ozamis City. The group is reportedly planning to rescue the son of the hitman of the killed Mayor Reynaldo Paruhinog.
Kung mayroon, yun din ang hinintay. Hindi ko na lang i-transfer para magpunta sila rito. They are all welcome naman. Sige, punta kayo rito.
Meanwhile, Espinido allays the fears of the residents of Ozamis City regarding his upcoming transfer to another police unit.
Ang nasuko na ako, ang nalipay nga marilib ko, kadto lang mga tulisan, adik-adik, kawatan, rapist, martilyogang, tanan nga mga violators, maunang nalipay nga marilib si Espinido.
Rodrigo Duterte, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Meanwhile, discussions in the recently held Mindanao Indigenous Peoples Legislative Assembly in Davao City focused on the concerns of indigenous people about the Bangsamoro Basic Law or BBL. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The 3-day Indigenous People Legislative Assembly for the Bangsamoro Basic Law held in Davao City was attended by representatives from the Office of the Presidential Advisor on the Peace Process or OPAP, indigenous groups and tribal leaders from various areas in Mindanao. Discussed in the meeting were the concerns of the indigenous people and their participation on the BBL.
Yung mga provisions na gusto nila, na meron silang mga amendments at ina-articulate nila yung gusto nila, like yung sa kanilang identity, yung kanilang freedom of choice, ano ibig sabihin doon, yung sa kanilang territory, yun ay ang dadalhin natin sa Kongreso.
The OPAP also discussed to the non-Moro indigenous people the provisions in the Bangsamoro Basic Law.
And pinapakita din nila yung support na nila sa mga katutubo sakop ng proposed Bangsamoro government. Napakaganda po ang output at most of our discussion limited to the privilege given and stated in the IFRA law.
Government representatives are hoping that the said assembly had helped provide clarifications on what they claim as wrong notions of indigenous people about the BBL. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
The OFW party list seeks to limit the government's deployment of household service workers to the Middle East. Aiko Miguel tells us why.
The Duterte administration has already repatriated an estimated of 20,000 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs who experience various problems with their employers abroad. However, the number of repatriates continues to increase due to many cases of Filipino household service workers suffering abuse in foreign lands. Some of them were reportedly scarred on their face by their employers using blades, while others were mauled. There were also cases of OFWs whose skin were ironed, others experienced being splashed with boiling water, and some were sexually abused. For these reasons, the OFW party list is calling on the government to further tighten and limit the number of domestic workers it sends to the Middle East through direct hiring.
Let's minimize deploying to direct employer, yung tinatawag na living in ng mga domestic workers, yung mga nasa bahay lang na stay in. Kasi ang pinakamaraming mga cases reported is yung mga living in domestic workers. If you deploy a person without education, without proper training, or without empowering them, this is slavery.
Labor Secretary Silvestre Bello III, on the other hand, notes that the Department of Labor and Employment is not sending OFWs abroad without assurance of their safety. Bello says this is why he already directed labor attachés to monitor and immediately provide aid to OFWs experiencing problems in other countries.
Ang aking instruction sa aming labor attachés, pag may ganong insidente, agad-agad iuwi. At pag meron ka ako na nagkaroon ng ganong experience at hindi kayo gumawa ng paraan, kayo ang iuwi ko. So maliwanag yung instruction ko.
Congressman Bertiz urges Filipinos to not rush going abroad if there is no certainty yet in terms of their employment.
First, maraming programa ang ating Presidente Duterte, ang gobyerno ni Tatay Digong ngayon, to enhance your skill. Andyan ang TESDA, andyan ang OWA, iba-iba pang mga local government units na nagbibigay ng training. So, samantalahin natin to. If we can able to at least improve our skill, let's say massage therapist or manicurista or baking and or involved in agriculture, why don't we stay in our country?
The Labor Department vows to resolve the problem on unemployment and livelihood of returning OFWs under the National Reintegration Program of the government and the International Organization for Migration or IOM. Meanwhile, the UNTV Action Center in Kuya has helped to repatriate an estimate of 37 OFWs from different countries. This is aside from the group of 13 OFWs who sought help from the Action Center in Kuya, repatriated from the Middle East. Aiko Miguel, UNTV News and Rescue, Marikina City.
And a bank depositor complains of unauthorized transactions made in his savings account. Rosalie Cos tells us why.
It is the second time for Crisanto Javier to open an account in a bank, but because of his unpleasant experience, he is afraid to open another one. It was on April 26, 2017 when he opened a savings account in BGC Taguig. To be able to meet the 10,000 pesos maintaining balance, he deposited twice. But during his third deposit on July 13, he was surprised when he found out that someone withdrew from his savings account as it lost 7,000 pesos. Based on the report, the money was withdrawn at 8 in the morning in A. Mabini, Manila.
Isa-savings nga po sana kaso cleanose ko na lang po kasi parang nawala na ako ng gana.
He is also unhappy about the slow inaction of the BDO management on his case.
Pag team follow-up ko, isa lang yung sinasabi nila na under investigation pa. Tapos itong last na follow-up ko kahapon, idinidecline na nga daw. So sabi ko, sa kanila, nahanapan ko sila ng ebidensya kung bakit tinikline, ano yung ganito, ano ba yung ginagawa nyo talagang aksyon.
Meanwhile, based on the statement of BDO Unibank released to UNTV News and Rescue, they have forwarded Javier's case to the concerned business unit and assure they will give feedback as soon as possible. Rosa Licoz, UNTV News and Rescue, Quezon City.
Poultry and quail raisers in Nueva Ecija have yet to receive the aid the Department of Agriculture vows to provide. Ray Pelayo tells us why.
Quail growers in Barangay Imbunya in the town of Jaen in Nueva Ecija are experiencing problems. This is because until now, they have not received yet the financial assistance that the Department of Agriculture vows to provide. Wilson is just one of the 35 quail growers who have been affected by the 1-kilometer radius protocol enforced for the recent bird culling operations of the government to prevent the spread of the avian flu virus. About 3,500 of his quails were culled. Wilson says before he earns about 1,500 pesos a day, now they are struggling to earn at least 500 pesos daily just to sustain their everyday needs.
Mahanap lang kami ng mga extrahan para may pangbaon sa aming mga estudyante. Yun, kanya-kanyang diskarte lang habang nag-aantay sa pangako nilang ayuda, hanggang ngayon wala pa.
However, some quail raisers who already have received financial assistance from the government say the amount given to them is not enough.
Ay, hindi po Sa pag-aalaga po ng pugo, bago mangitlog, yung 5,000 pugo, kumakain ng halos 75,000. 2 months mo aalagaan, no income. Puro palabas. Kaya hindi po sapat.
Even poultry workers and backyard raisers in the town of San Isidro are now having problems as they have yet to receive financial aid from the DA. They are now depending on the assistance given to them by the barangay. Only yesterday, each of them received only 5 kilograms of rice and several canned goods.
Ayan yung ilog, minsan nakikista kami dyan, namimingwit para makakuha pang ulam.
Poultry and quail raisers from Jaen and San Isidro are hoping that the government will be able to give them financial assistance at the soonest possible time. Ray Pelayo, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources distributes livelihood assistance to fishermen in Subic, Zambales. Grace Casin tells us why.
Benjamin Mercadal has been a fisherman for 7 years now in Subic, Zambales. However, until now, he does not have his own boat and only joins his friends in fishing. He earns only more than 300 pesos daily, which he says is not enough for everyday needs of his family. Benjamin is among those the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources or BFAR vows to help. Earlier, BFAR distributed fishery livelihood assistance to fishermen in Subic, Zambales. This include fish stalls, payaw, tuna hand line with life vest, 20-footer FRP boat, gill net, and a vending set worth 26.6 million pesos.
We give them intervention, immediate, kasi back to basic tayo ngayon Self-food sufficiency. Kailangan yung mga marginal fisher folks muna natin na nagpuproduce ng ating pagkain, ang kumakain.
Malaking tulong to. Kasi pag pwede ako lang mag-isa Hindi na ako sama muna sa sasamahan ko. Di bale, sarilingan ko na lang kita. Hindi na kami maghati ng Kaya malaking tulong itong binigay na sa BFAR.
Senate Committee on Agriculture and Rural Development Chairman Senator Cynthia Villar, meanwhile, says the government should support fishermen as they are among the main suppliers of food in the country.
Sila pinakamahihirap sa bansa. So, alam naman natin yung mga workers at mga farmers and fishermen natin ang pinakamahirap sa ating bansa that is borne by statistics. Kaya pag hindi natin yan tinulungan, iwanan niya ng fishing and farming, wala tayong kakainin in the future generation.
BFAR says they will continue providing aid to fishermen in order to help the country's fishing industry grow. Grace Casin, UNTV News and Rescue, Philippines.
Coming up on Y News. The United States retaliates, orders closure of Russian consulate and annexes.
A new World B-Beard record was set in Toronto, Canada.
And album recording begins for the final entries in the Song of Praise Music Festival on television, Year 6.
More from Y News after this break.
A Song of Praise or As of TV has it again to excite lovers of praise music. Leslie Longbowen tells us why.
The ASOP fever is now on as the album recording of the grand finalists has already begun. The program's resident judge Doc Mon Del Rosario carefully listens to every single note to produce the best version of the song.
Ang intent lang naman pigain namin yung emotional content ng kanta at walang masayang na emotion doon at mailabas ng interpreter sa boses niya.
The two interpreters who first performed the recording gave their all in their respective songs. Although 2016 Awit Awards Best New Female Recording Artist Chris Angelica had previous recording experiences, she said she still learned a lot from Doc Mon.
Ang saya, ang sarap sa feeling na natuturuan niya ako kung ano yung dapat kong gawin, kung paano ko i-apply yung mga style. Palagi kong pinapakinggan yung kanta para mas ma-absorb ko siya, para mas maisipan ko pa siya kung paano ko siya babanatan.
Meanwhile, 2012 Karaoke World Championship Grand Finalist JV Decena says, singing praise songs brings out a different emotion.
Iba pa din yung emotion na maibibigay sa'yo kapag it's a song of praise or it's a song of love, your love for God, diba? For your faith. Talagang iba yung mabibigay niya sa'yo na impact.
Music fans will hear 12 new praise songs on the ASOP Year 6 Grand Finals on November. Doc Mon says the finals is really something to watch out for.
Just like any other na editions ng ASOP, hindi mo rin malalaman dito kung sino talaga yung mananalo. Kasi 12 winners yan eh. Sa ngayon, ako hindi ko pa rin alam. Kasi magaganda lahat eh.
Leslie Longbowen, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippines.
Some popular OPM artists acknowledge Wish 1075's contribution to their music career. Robbie De Guzman tells us why.
Alongside the birthday treat of Wish 1075 yesterday as their gratitude to their supporters, some OPM artists who joined the 3rd anniversary celebration took the chance to thank the station. They recognized Wish FM's contributions to their career, just like Bugoy Drilon, whose Wish-clusive video One Day became viral and reached its original singer, Matis Yahoo. Performing with the international reggae singer was a wish come true for Bugoy.
Wish, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to showcase my talent as a Filipino. And maraming salamat dahil isa po kayo sa instrumento na yung mga musician talaga na nabibigyan ng pagkakataon ng avenue na ipakita nila kung anong talent meron sila.
R&B crooner Michael Pangilinan also heightened the energy with his live Wish-clusive performance. Michael's videos are among the most viewed in the Wish FM YouTube channel. His Wish-clusive performance of Your Love gained over 12 million views. Michael expressed what makes him always come back to the FM station.
Trabaho at saka maganda yung sound system dito, tapos ano pa ba, tsaka wala, nakaka-enjoy lang kasi wala na may ibang ganito walang ibang ganitong concept, so masaya din na naging part ako na tong Wish. Sa Wish, maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga opportunities na ibinigay nyo sa lahat, and sana tumagal pa at dumami pa yung mga matulungan at madiscover ninyo.
Meanwhile, with the aim to discover fresh and world-class Filipino talents, Wish formally launched its online singing competition, Wish Covery, yesterday. The Wishful 20 were also named in the anniversary celebration. Robbie de Guzman, UNTV, News and Rescue, Philippine.
Those are the reasons behind the news, September 1, 2017. I'm Angelo Castro III.
Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am William Theo.
And I'm Darlene Basingan, because we need to know.
We will always ask why. Thank you for watching
Why News.